Welcome back to episode 36 of the Around the Diamond Baseball podcast. Uh Matt and I are here today after a very long and hopefully good Labor Day weekend. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. Had a great Labor Day weekend. Um, Spent the day at an amusement park. I was a little hot, but other than that, had a great time. How about yourself, Mello?
Good. Was working, but I mean, I'm working at Dodger Stadium. To me, there's no place I'd rather be. Was it fun watching my team lose 3 out of 4 to the best team in the league? No, but it was a humbling experience that I think needed to happen.
That's right. Dodgers fans need to knock down a peg every once in a while.
So do the Braves fans.
I'm on board with that. So I would have taken the series either way. Obviously, would have rather the Dodgers took care of business, but it is what it
I'd
is.
I'd rather lose a series now than when it counts in October. So get the garbage play out of the way now, and we'll see you on October 16th.
Fair enough. I'm sure the Braves are looking forward to that too.
Yes, they are.
So what do we got topics wise today, Mello?
So I don't want to do this, but and Matt doesn't want to do this either, but we have to at least touch on it. Urias domestic violence charges. He got arrested Sunday night. Again, I don't want to talk about it, especially me, because this is my team. And here we go again with somebody. I'm gonna be very blunt about this. Somebody fucking around outside of the field. Um, Next we're gonna talk about Ohtani. Finally heard from the agent. I don't know where he was the last month, but we finally got to hear from him. Rendon too. He said something that kind of pissed a lot of people off. And then lastly, we'll kind of look at where we're at with a month left in the season and look at some postseason matchups because they're very interesting. When I was making the list for top five most anticipated playoff series that we could get, I was intrigued. I was like, man, we can actually get some of these early, and I want to see it. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, so I'll get my comments in here quick because obviously we want to hear what you have to say. This is a more situation that's closer to you, being a Dodgers fan, and this isn't the first time Julio Urias is in this sort of situation. This happened earlier in his career. He was suspended 20 games, so that's uh, it already puts him at a different spot compared to as terrible as it sounds, somebody who did it for the first time, it's worse when you're a repeat offender for sure. Um, and we've seen, and I don't want to compare cases, but that's sort of all we can do just based off of what has happened before. I mean, I don't know. There's not details out about this situation. And frankly, that's okay because it's not our business. People don't really like, I personally have no interest in hearing the story of what happened because it's terrible. Um, if anything has happened, this is not okay. But with Trevor Bauer case, well, look where he's at now. He's pitching over in Korea or Japan, whichever one. And nobody had any interest in re-signing him, even though he literally won the Cy Young just before that. He was signed to a big deal with the Dodgers, and then he was found guilty in the eyes of the justice system for whatever that's worth. Nobody wanted to sign him then, and he didn't pitch very well. Hasn't pitched very well, from what I understand, over uh, in I think it is Korea. I believe so. Um, Mello doesn't know. Um, but the reason I bring that up is because obviously Julio Urias is. It's well known that he's going to be a free agent after this season. Contract talks with the Dodgers already, from what I understand, weren't at the best spot. And now after this, sort of seems like it may have eliminated all chances of the Dodgers in particular being interested, as well as maybe the rest of Major League Baseball. I don't know though, because every team views it a little differently. Plus, obviously, we don't know the outcome of this situation yet. we want to hope for the best that this didn't happen, but there is a reason that the police were called and he was arrested and charged. So, Melo, what were your thoughts, I guess, on this situation and how it could affect the future of the Dodgers?
I mean, first of all, he is not throwing another pitch in Major League Baseball ever again. Let's get that out of the way. To me, I don't think he is. It's one thing to get caught once. It's another thing to get caught twice. And keep in mind, he was charged Sunday night with this. It's very hard for me to see Urias put on another MLB jersey and pitch. To me, when I saw it Sunday morning, the first thought I was completely disgusted, disappointed, and just I was not happy. It's you would think you learn your lesson after the first time, and clearly there's still something wrong with him. But I was just extremely, extremely disappointed and frankly upset because, Dodgers have had to deal with a lot of crap this year, good and bad. I'm not going to go into it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, like I said a couple months ago, if you want to know what I'm talking about, you go to the network that ends with an N or you go to the network that ends with an S. You can find the information there. Just when this organization was kind of getting over that and people were starting to forget, and then bam, here comes this thing with Urias 48 hours ago. And it just makes us look bad. It makes us look bad. And I saw a lot of people, fans of different sports and frankly, people who don't watch baseball, but they'll take a dump on the Dodgers anytime stuff like this comes up.
Yeah.
It made us look bad. It made us all look, if he's doing this, then all their fans and all other players are doing this. That's not the case. But it just makes us look bad. And I don't see in any case how, number one, forget about pitching in the majors. He might not be a free man in a couple weeks. He might be behind bars. So, like I said, I'm just extremely disappointed. And, in terms of the baseball stuff, this couldn't have happened at a worse time. 1 month to go in the regular season. We were getting everybody basically healthy back. Dodgers had this historic month in August where they went 24-5, almost broke the franchise record for most wins in a single month. And yes, they're going to win the NL West again. Yes, they're probably going to have a bye. Yes, they're going to have a home playoff series. But the pitching, particularly the starting pitching, was thin as it was, even with Urias. And listen, in a contract year, and I think we now know why, Urias was not pitching well this year. Was not pitching good. If he was a free agent last year, he might not even be on our team, and he would be at least a $200 million pitcher right now in the majors.
Definitely.
But just not smart on him to screw basically his whole career. When he had this big contract coming in the offseason. And for a Dodgers team that starting pitching is very thin right now, couldn't have come at a worse time.
Yeah, obviously the news of Tony Gonsolin being out, we just talked about that on the podcast last week. I believe that
Dustin May.
Dustin May out. Clayton Kershaw still dealing with injuries. And I think I'm forgetting somebody. I mean, Walker Buehler obviously has been out and is out. He's making his way back, but still not. It's just another hit to the Dodgers rotation here. And listen, we're trying to keep this on the baseball side of things. We could talk about how awful of a human being he is if this stuff is true and stuff for forever, but we don't want to, waste everybody's time with that. So we're just going to try and keep it baseball, so to say, for now. Obviously, like I just said, huge hit to the Dodgers. rotation, postseason rotation, that's huge because you were counting on this guy who had been in playoff contention in playoff games before in his young career, and he showed up for the Dodgers before. Just 2-3 years ago, he was a Cy Young candidate and was leading the league in a couple stats and made a bunch of playoff starts. So it's tough when you're relying on guys like Bobby Miller, who doesn't have that playoff experience. And it's not to say that he can't be great in the playoffs, because that's definitely a possibility. You're looking at guys. I don't mean to take a shot at Clayton Kershaw, but just historically has not been great in the postseason. Whether 2020 erases that for you or not, that's just the truth. Younger guys, Emmett Sheehan, I don't know if we'll see him in the postseason a lot, but if he is, because of all these injuries, no postseason starts for him, obviously, as well. It'd be great to have Walker Buehler back, but you don't know what his situation is. Lance Lynn, I feel pretty good with him in the postseason. He's a veteran. He's been there before for Cardinals, Rangers, I'd assume.
Rangers, yeah.
I'm not sure of any other teams, but
I don't know if he made it with the
maybe
White
the
Sox,
White
but
Sox.
the 2021 year. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know either. But yeah, there's a couple guys, but still, like, you would have liked to have another playoff experienced arm in your rotation. And obviously now that is very likely not going to be the case.
Yeah, and like I said, time means everything. A month left to go in the regular season, and this happened in a weekend where we just lost 3 out of 4 to arguably the best team in the National League. And coming into that series, it was going to be a big test for us. Like, okay, now we're really going to find out how close these two teams are, because they were coming in, they were only 4 games behind each other, but we found out very quickly that just because you're 1-2 doesn't necessarily mean you're really 1-2.
Yeah.
And losing Urias, for the rest of the season doesn't help. Definitely unsettling, but I mean, the Dodgers, and I think they're going to do it, they're going to have this next up mentality. I like that a lot of these kids, Ryan Pepio, Gavin Stone, Bobby Miller has been great so far this year. Emmett Sheehan, these guys are contributing and they're pitching in big games. Bobby Miller, 48 hours ago, just had the best start of his career. 7 innings, got a whole bunch of strikeouts against a very good Atlanta team. So, yeah, it sucks that we're, losing Urias, but it has to be done. And I'm not making excuses for him. I really don't want him on my team anymore. Just next man up mentality. That's really all you can tell your locker room right now if you're Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
Next guy up.
Don't do dumb things.
No.
That applies to a lot of things. That seems like a very light phrase to use in this situation, because that's more than just a dumb thing, so to say. So, but just in general, I guess. But yeah, that's really all we got for that, the whole Urias and how it affects the Dodgers, I believe. So, next up, I think we have Shohei Ohtani, right?
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani. His agent finally came out after all these weeks and talked. It seems like it was only not even Ohtani talking. It was just Perry Manassian, and that was pretty much it. Everybody else was kind of silent about these stuff, and his agent basically said that he needs some sort of surgery, but it's not. It could be Tommy John. It could not be. They're again still going for second opinions. They're still talking around, but he basically hinted that his elbow's messed up and he does need some sort of surgery.
While also saying, though, he says without a doubt that Ohtani will be pitching, come back and pitch again. That's not even a question. That Ohtani, I mean, I believe the phrasing he said was loves it so much, loves pitching so much. And I mean, at the end of the day, you can love something so much, but if your arm's not allowing you to pitch, it doesn't matter. Now, and I believe that whether the agent, and it's his job to do this, protect Ohtani and try to get the best deal for him in free agency, whether it is, an equal chance at Tommy John and compared to just a regular other procedure or not, he has to say that though. Like if he comes out and says Shohei's going to get Tommy John, he's going to be out for, however long it'll be, at least a year, maybe. Uh, it's going to create hesitancy. It's going to lower his value. We talked about the different ways to look at it. So it's his job to come out there and protect Shohei in a way, but I think he handled it pretty good. Other than that, I mean, there was a lot of doubt just in general about Shohei. How sustainable can this be for him? And I think an interesting point that his agent made as well is that this isn't the same ligament or same fragment of the ligament or whatever as he tore earlier in his career. So I think that's good news. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I believe that's good news. But yeah, I think overall it was well handled by Shohei's agent, and it was good that we finally heard somebody talk about it.
Yeah, and this is going to be the big thing coming up in his pending free agency because if I was a GM, I want to know, does he need the Tommy John, yes or no? Because my future and my entire offseason, if you're a team like Dodgers, if you're a team like the Giants, the Angels, the Mariners, they're relying on that information. We need to know. Because if not, it's going to suck for Shohei, but that price tag is going to go down. It is. But, it could be one of those things where, a team signs him for 3-4 years. He'll pitch for maybe two of them, and then he can get his value back up, and then he'll get the big contract in 2027, 2028.
Yeah.
That can happen.
Yep.
And don't be surprised if it does. But yeah, it's good to finally clear the air about this whole thing because baseball fans and pretty much everybody else was just kind of just asking questions. We didn't know.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's good to get some information out there, frankly. I'm gonna stick around in the Angels locker room.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Anthony Rendon.
Well, the guy that never plays.
That's right. The guy that never plays, the guy that
Kawhi Leonard.
The guy that got paid for a couple of weeks in a playoff run.
Damn right.
In DC there.
I stick by that.
Mm-hmm.
Has he played since?
Hardly. But he was at a press conference, or I don't even know. He wasn't really at it. Some reporter was asking him a question, and I believe his quote was "No habla inglés today." And in case you haven't heard that phrase before in your life, which you probably have, but I don't know English. I don't speak English today. So he just didn't want to talk to the media. And basically, a lot of questions coming out about how much does Anthony Rendon actually want to come back and play? Or is it just easier for him to sit in the dugout, chew seeds, collect the checks, not have any pressure on how badly he's performing or anything because he's not playing at all for the Angels. He can keep writing it off as a hip injury. I think he's had hand injuries before too, so foot injuries, whatever it is. It's an easy way out for him, but it's kind of disappointing to see. What do you think about his quotes?
Unprofessional. Be a man.
Very.
Face the media. Face the music. I mean, it's too late for him to come back now with a month left and have any impact. And if you, why can't you just say that? It's like, listen, there's a month left in the season. I want to be ready for 2024. Why can't you just say that? Be a man and face the music. It's not that hard.
No, that's the perfect way to say it right there. You don't have to say, you don't have to go in depth. There are people who are good with the media, people who aren't, people who enjoy talking to the media, people who don't. But to treat the situation like this, I don't think is the right way to go about it. You're a Major League Baseball player. You have obligations to talk to the media, and people
whether you
expect
like it or
you.
not.
Yeah, whether you like it or not. Uh, this is even worse than Marshawn Lynch's. I'm just
I'm
here so I
just
don't get fined. So this is worse than that. This is borderline, I think, disrespectful to the media because you're just saying like I don't have time for you today. I don't want to talk about it. Except you're saying it in a more disrespectful fashion.
Rendon, we have jobs too, okay? We got to do our jobs too. Be a man and let us know. Give us something because we got to get paid too. I
That's
wish
right.
I could just sit on my ass and not do anything and collect checks like you do.
That's right. That's gonna put a cap on this. Melo loves talking about Anthony Rendon, but this
Definitely, as you
isn't
can
the
hear in this tone of my voice.
this is not the Anthony Rendon show. So
It's my
moving on
show.
now. That's right. All right. So the playoffs, they're right on our doorstep, and fields. I don't want to say the field's starting to set because honestly, at this point, the National League can go a million different ways yet in the wild card, and the American League, the wild card is still. I don't want to say up for grabs, but it's still a little. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but like still a little few pieces that could be moved around yet. The Rangers could potentially fall out of playoff contention. They're just a half a game up on the Blue Jays as we're recording this right now. And then the Astros are just a game up on the Rangers. But then when you go to the division, the Rangers are just a couple games back of the Astros out there in the AL West. Okay, sorry about that. One game back of the Astros out there in the AL West. And the Astros they're not quite tied. They're 0.001 percentage point behind the Mariners for the lead in the AL West. So, talking about matchups we like to see or current matchups, gonna have to create a little bracket in my mind right here, trying to think of where everybody will be, unless you have one pulled up to be a
Um,
lifesaver.
in the National League, and this is not my team, and this is not my side of the bracket, so I'm really gonna enjoy this. Cubs and Phillies, a 3 game series. I think every game might finish 10-9. It's that's somebody said it when we put out the graphic. He's like, I'm gonna bet the over on everything. I'm like, I'm right there with you, buddy.
That's right.
That has the potential to be probably the best wild card series here. Potentially. Let's see what happens with the Rangers and maybe the Astros will meet up or something. But just I'm so enthralled by that series. One, because you're a Phillies fan, obviously, you got something in it. And number two, and this is the point I've been making for the last couple of weeks. You know, I would much rather be the 2 seed in the National League. Because if you're the 1 seed like the Braves, you get the winner of two very hot teams right now, the Phillies and the Cubs. I would not want any part of that. No, thank you.
Yeah, a a Phillies Cubs wild card series would be absolutely insane. Now I believe all three of those games would be in Philly. Then, right? That's how that works. Okay,
Yep.
so or at least two Phillies. Come on, take care of business. um, but yeah, to see all those sluggers go at it in a hitter's park like Philly, oof. But now let's not discount the pitching on both sides as well, though. Justin Steele has a case to win NL Cy Young. Not to mention some of the other pitchers that would be in this series. Aaron Nola has not had a great season, but he is generally considered an ace. Borderline, I guess you could say. Zach Wheeler, top 10 NL Cy Young, borderline top 5 this season. Michael Lorenzen threw a no-hitter. So I think it would be a great matchup whether the pitchers are getting bombed or not, frankly. I'm sure we could get one good pitching performance in there. Maybe not on both sides of the ball, but I'm sure a Steele Wheeler game would be good, whether Steele dominates the Phillies or not. Um, Either way, Kyle Schwarber hitting some bombs against his former team. Cody Bellinger in some playoff games actually looking like himself. Even if the Phillies are facing the Cubs, I would be excited to see that because we haven't seen Cody Bellinger be like 27 or 2019 Cody Bellinger in the playoffs. He's done better in the playoffs in the regular season for the Dodgers, but to see him like fully back in the playoffs would be great, I think.
Craig Kimbrell shutting it down against his former team.
Well, hopefully shutting it
Could
down.
happen.
Or it could be
Could
blown
happen.
save and then collusion because Craig Kimbrell still loves David Ross and the Cubs and the front office there. And then Phillies fans would cook up some conspiracy theories. But what other series you got your eyes on?
Damn. Just looking out in the American League side of things, I really want to see Rangers Astros. I'm not even from Texas, and I want to see that. But, the Astros have been the superior team in that state for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a lot of that little brother, big brother thing with the Rangers and the Astros. We're the big bad team. We've won the 2 World Series. We've been to 6 straight NLCS. Here come the Rangers with this one good season, and they think they're going to take us down. In a short series like that, I can't wait. I would love to see that. And I think it would be great for the sport, too.
Definitely.
Having two teams from Texas, and those places are going to be crazy packed with every team, with both teams, or wherever it'll be in one place. But you get the idea.
Their fans definitely would travel across the state, I think underrated potential matchup. Houston and the Twins.
That's what I said
Yeah.
on my
I
list.
I think the Twins would have a chance to knock the Astros off, actually. That's my opinion.
You
The
put it on record
Twins,
now.
that's right.
September 5th.
Early in the season, the pitching was carrying the Twins, and they had no offense. As of recently, their offense has been on fire, sparked by some of these young guys, Matt Wallner, Royce Lewis, Eddie Julian, all these guys, plus Carlos Correa revenge versus the Astros. I mean, you don't like that storyline? Can Minnesota actually win a playoff game?
To continue with the Correa stuff, to take a page out of Jimmy Butler's book, Tobias Harris over me, Carlos Correa, Jeremy Pena over me. Could happen. Could
Yeah.
walk into Houston and bat 700 with a couple home runs and big RBIs, and he carries the Twins on their back and ends this season for the Astros. I'd love to see that.
Knock him out of going to 7 straight ALCSs. That'd be funny. Yeah, I think that's an underrated one. Let's each pick one more here, and even looking ahead till the NLCS or ALCS, either way. I think on the ALCS side, Rays Orioles would be a fun one. Obviously the AL East rivalry there, but then also just the youth of the Orioles obviously it's a big marketing point, whatever you want to say. People in general are pointing that out. It'd be fun to see Adley and Gunnar Henderson, and I mean Grayson Rodriguez has been making a lot of good starts recently, and all these guys that they have youth wise on their team. I'd be interested in seeing that. The Rays just throwing anybody out there, and they seem to do pretty good. Plus, obviously, Randy Arozarena in any type of playoff situation or, yeah, exactly, any sort of, I don't want to say competition because Major League Baseball games are competition, but like in the World Baseball Classic, obviously that's not playoff baseball, but it's the same sort of thing. So to see him in playoff baseball would be electric again. What do you got? One more series you'd like to see?
In the National League, the obvious one would be Dodgers Braves, but everybody has said that, and I'm not going to do that. I thought we were going to get this last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get it this year. Dodgers Phillies.
There we go.
Dodgers Phillies. They haven't met up for a pennant since 2009. Um, some of the two of the historic teams that we have in the National League, Phillies and Dodgers, two big markets, Philly and LA. That would be exciting.
Definitely. I'm. It'd be great for around the diamond as a whole. Company man, Melo picking out that series there. Good job, Melo. We'll get him a
Yes,
raise.
yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
but even for baseball as a whole, if this was how it worked and Rob Manfred was picking out series for the NLCS, I think that would be number 2 or number 3 that he would pick out, either Dodgers Braves or Dodgers/Braves versus Cubs, because Cubs obviously big market, big historic value there, and then the Phillies versus probably I'd say the Dodgers over the Braves just to have the West Coast interested as well. But yeah, definitely, I would love to see Dodgers Phillies.
Yeah, and for me personally, this is one I'd want to see. Dodgers Diamondbacks in the NLDS.
Mm,
Just because if that were to happen, I would be really interested to get in a car and drive my ass to Arizona and go see a game. Would love to see that.
Mellon taking a road trip to the desert
Yes.
just so we can watch the game from the pool out there.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yes, yes, yes. And then the Dodgers will join me after they win the series in Arizona.
Celebratory dip in the pool.
Yes, we'll go skinny dipping. No, we won't do that.
Oh,
We will not do that.
oh. You hear that, Freddie Freeman? Mookie
Yes.
Betts.
Yes. I think they like that idea.
Um, I think that's gonna be everything for episode 36 here, right?
Yeah. Uh Postseason's coming, man. Weather's changing, at least where I am. I don't know about you.
Well,
A
it
little
was
bit. It's
supposed to
still
be.
warm,
We
but
got a solid 90 the last 2 days here, so it felt like the first week of August, not quite the first week of September. So we can turn the heat down a little bit here, but
yeah, I'm
we're
with
getting
you.
there.
We're getting there.
It feels like fall in a way, just not quite the temperature, not quite the temperature we're used to at this time. But we're looking forward to playoff baseball.
I'm not.
Okay, come on, Mello.
How am I gonna get hurt again this year? What's gonna happen?
I'm out here ready to get hurt again. In the words of Michael Scott, I'm ready to be hurt again. But I just came off that World Series appearance. I'm vulnerable. I'm expecting the same thing here. You
Yeah,
need
and
to
I
have a
just
little.
came off a season where 111 wins didn't mean shit, and then you lost to San Diego and they freaking won the World Series, or they thought they won the World Series because of that.
Don't worry, we took care of business.
You did, and I really appreciate that.
You wouldn't have heard the end of it though if we wouldn't
No,
have.
no, I still don't hear the end of it, and they didn't even, and they fizzled out after one win to the Phillies. And they fizzled out very quickly. Just goes to show you
Right.
that was their World Series last year.
That's what's in, right? Padres fizzled
Yes,
out.
that's what's in, and when they officially get eliminated, I will have something for all you Padre fans out there.
There we go. Sweet little treat for Padres fans, courtesy of Mello.
Yes, 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 yes.
don't you have a countdown set for how many days till they can get eliminated? How many games?
5 games until they're eliminated from the division.
There you
And
go.
then they'll get eliminated in the wild card. They have 17. 17's the big one for me. I don't care about the division because they weren't winning it anyways.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
That elimination 17 that's a big one for me.
Philly's taking care of business. That's all I can ask. We're playing the Padres right now, so we got to be taking care of business. Get
Those are
that
free
number down.
wins.
That's right. That's right. We took the one last night. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching, listening. If you're listening, go ahead and drop a review, subscribe, and whatever else you might do on Spotify. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and we'll see you again later this week.
Adios.